What's going on, everybody? It is $10 Sports. NFL Week 4 just kicking off. Before we jump at it, let's hit that intro.
$10
Sports.
Welcome to Week 4 of $10 Sports. I'm your host, Moose, and I am joined by my co-host. There he is. It's MRod. How are you? I see that you're not sporting the fedora today.
Yeah, it's been the first 3 weeks, and the fedora has won me nothing. So I think it's one of those things where you guys got to change it up a little bit, see if you get better luck.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll of course go through our picks. We have our new ticker up top, and then down below when we go to our single shots as well. I think that's got our cumulative records on there now. I think you're a little bit under 500 so far through week 3, but let's see how week 4 treats us. Exciting game just going on. Eagles and Packers. Eagles pulling it out, 34-27. Big performance, of course, by Carson Wentz. That game was a no-go for me as we're going over week 4 games. I've had 2 bad weeks with the Eagles, and of course the week that I stay away from them, they were a surefire bet to beat the Packers. So let's get right. Yeah,
Packers
go ahead.
Were actually a pretty quiet, undefeated team. I didn't realize they were undefeated till today. I was like, man, they're undefeated.
That's true. I guess they really haven't played anyone significant, though.
They beat the Bears week 1.
Yeah, the Bears' offense, though. This is the first time that they, after week 1, it was like, oh wow, the Packers. Do they have a good defense? And I think that question was answered today. I think they have a middle of the road defense that's going to be ultimately a liability down the stretch. So they played Chicago. I forgot who they played last week, but they pulled off the win. But yeah, I'd forgotten they were 3-0. So let's take a look at how we did last week. Not a great week for both of us at least on the $10 parlay end. Look at the college picks first. Lots of red X's up there. UCF, a big surprise. They ended up winning. Did they end up winning? I don't even remember. But
yeah,
they ended up winning, but they did not cover. So they came back. Oh, they were down at least by 20 points to Pittsburgh at some point.
Oh, no, actually, they lost 35-34.
Oh, I knew they lost. I knew I was really mad. I almost from the beginning, you knew they weren't going to cover, so that was going to be a big red X. But yeah, that's right. Pittsburgh
They were
beat
down
them
by a lot at the beginning, and they made a comeback. It looked like they were going to win, but it looks like Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they took the lead, and Pittsburgh took the lead right at the end to beat them. Utah, another big surprise. They were ranked top 10, and let me down with USC with a big surprise there. Boise State covered early on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, you were out before the weekend even started.
Yeah, no, basically, yeah. Early Saturday it was over, and then Wisconsin though I knew that I had called that one. Michigan is, I don't even know why they're still in the top 25. Technically, I guess they have the record to stay in the top 25, but I think Michigan's going to find its way potentially out of ranking, and then Harbaugh potentially out of a job coming up. So. College didn't go so well for me. Really, still sad about the Notre Dame game. I'd have to give it to them. They played a lot better than I thought they would.
They covered the spread, right?
They covered the spread, and they almost pulled off the upset. Yeah, they were 13, I think, at one point underdogs, so they definitely covered the spread, and they were so close. But Georgia made some perfect passes, perfect catches that. At the end of the day, Georgia's on a different level. Jake Fromm is great.
Future Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback?
Maybe. It just depends. I guess we'll make a decision this offseason about Jameis Winston, and hopefully we don't find ourselves in a situation like the Dolphins this year where we're tanking for Fromm. I guess the Dolphins are tanking for Tua this year.
Yeah, there's Tua, Herbert. I think Fromm comes out this year, so those are the top 3 quarterbacks coming out this year into the draft.
I guess I wouldn't. I wouldn't mind tanking for Trevor Lawrence, right? Maybe take a year off, bring back Fitzpatrick to hold it down for next year, it seems like he does for tanking teams.
No, the tanking guy was always Josh McCown.
Oh, Josh McCown, that's right. Yep, bring back McCown. So let's look at how you did last week. More red X's, and you were out before the weekend started as well, with the Titans going down on
Yeah.
Thursday Night Football. Kind of a surprising win by the Jaguars. Falcons taking the L. Your Raiders not getting the job done against the Vikings, and the
Nope.
Seahawks with a surprising home loss to the Saints.
The Drew Brees-less Saints.
That's right. The first game without Drew Brees in quite a long time for the Saints. Seahawks could not cover at home, and in fact, they lost outright.
And the Saints defense looked phenomenal. I mean, they really controlled the tone of the game there.
Yes, they scored on all three facets. They had the punt return, they had a pick six, I want to say, or a fumble return, and Bridgewater had a pretty solid game. Alvin Kamara had a great game as well. So Saints maybe not as weak as we thought. We thought that maybe Bridgewater would be a liability, and there would be a chance for another team to make a run in the NFC South. It's really not looking that way. Not just that, but I don't even think the other three teams in that division have the firepower to even go against a team without Drew Brees.
Absolutely. I mean, defense is playing phenomenally. I mean, Kamara, he does his thing. So as long as they can the defense can control the game and run the ball and pitch it out to Kamara, Saints are still going to be the leading team in that division.
Of course, the big surprise maybe for us was your call of the Giants +7. I think in your mind maybe you're thinking the Giants would keep it close, but Giants pulled off the upset.
Yeah, it's the Bucks' weakness. Like I always said, it's first-time starters and backup quarterbacks. They'll get the Bucks every single time.
It's a sure bet anytime.
And I even started Daniel Jones in fantasy in a couple of my leagues, and he put 30-plus points. So very happy with that result.
So, and I know we haven't got to this week's game, but kind of an interesting fact. This is the first time, I guess, Jared Goff is facing the Buccaneers. So does that kind of make him a rookie matchup for the Buccaneers? And
he's played before. It's got to be like your first time starting
ever.
In the NFL. Yeah, or you got to be a backup, one of the two.
Fair enough. So I still expect him to throw for 400 yards, but that's neither here nor there. So again,
overall, the Rams defense offense has not been very impressive to me. But their defense has been, especially their secondary, has been playing like amazingly. So, I mean, that's what's going to keep them in the game, and that's what's going to prevent the Buccaneers from winning this week. It's that Rams secondary.
Let's take a look at my picks, and I like doing the 5 picks, and went down 3 out of 5 red X's down there. I was happy about the Colts. I felt pretty confident about them beating the Falcons, and Cowboys had me sweating a little bit, but they ended up covering the spread right at the end. So I was happy to see that. But by the time the Cowboys were playing, the Eagles had already found a way to lose against Detroit.
I knew they were going to cover your spread the minute Dak Prescott said in the huddle that spicy nuggets are back.
Oh, man. I wonder how much he got paid for that promotion under the table by Wendy's. I do enjoy me some good spicy nugs, though. 49ers did not cover the spread, I believe.
So does this officially end your bromance with the Eagles?
Yeah, after Thursday night's game, I don't know. Like I want to hop back on the bandwagon now. I'll have to see what the rest of their schedule looks like. They looked like a different team, honestly, with Alshon Jeffrey back, and I'd imagine as some of their more injured players return, that they'll be looking even better. So I think Alshon Jeffrey and Aguilar, who hopefully is going to be catching the ball after he was called out publicly by Philadelphia firemen or people who were rescuing animals or babies from burning buildings, calling them out specifically for dropping the ball. That was one of my all-time favorite clips. That might have to be a drop. I'll have to cut that audio and have it on our soundboard, but I think the Eagles they look great today. Winning in Lambeau's never easy, so.
Nah, no doubt.
So let's move on to our picks for the week. Let's look at the odds overall, and like we always do, kind of go over our no goes. One big no go for me on the outset was the Eagles and the Packers. I wanted to stay away from that. Packers still I was still on the fence with, and Eagles I was just mad at them. I wanted to stay away at that game. What are some of the no goes for you?
One of my no-goes is the Chargers and Dolphins. Chargers are a good team, Dolphins are not, but Vegas has a way of equalizing teams, and that's through a spread. And the minus 16, the way the Chargers have been playing the past couple of weeks, I don't know if they can cover that spread. They have not looked very good. So that's a no-go there for me. And then you got the Cowboys and the Saints. If that Saints secondary plays the way they did against Seattle in New Orleans, I don't know if the Cowboys can pull that one off, or Teddy Bridgewater can throw 4 picks. So that's another no-go there for me.
Yeah, I like this. I think the spread's pretty good there, especially if you're a Cowboys better. I think that's a friendly bet, but I agree with you. I think Dak is due for a stinker soon, and it's so hard to play in the Superdome. I mean, being there, having gone there a couple times, it doesn't matter if the Saints are 0-12. That's a tough place to play.
And I also have the Vikings and Bears, two great defenses and two quarterbacks who have been not so good so far.
Definitely underperforming for Trubisky and Kirk Cousins. So my no-goes definitely were the Eagles, Packers. Man, I think I did over/under action on Browns and Ravens, but I didn't want to do the. I didn't want to pick winner of that game, even with the spread. Don't know if I. Titans and Falcons, I think, was another no-go for me. As much as I want to say that the Falcons are hot garbage, the Titans have looked like hot garbage also. Their last few games, they looked amazing week 1 against the Browns, and they've had difficulty the next few games. Who'd they play? I think they played the Lions, and who they played last week that they lost to. They just have not looked great, the Jaguars. So that was really my big no-go there. I think I also stayed away from Redskins Giants as much as I want to get on the Chandler Jones bandwagon and think that they're going to destroy the Redskins. I don't know. That spread's pretty tight there. Maybe Vegas knows something that we don't.
What about that Patriots Bills?
Patriots Bills. How close was that? Did they have it? Was it single
7.
digits? It was 7. Yeah, I stayed away from it. I think the Patriots cover that easily. I think the Bills are.
Speaking of Patriots and Bills, why don't you share that story about our first ever parlay where you thought you won, but
Oh my gosh! So, talk about amateur sports gambling, right? So we go on MRod's bachelor cruise, and they had a sports book for some reason on the cruise. I don't even know how they pulled that off. It was like the shadiest desk in the middle of the world.
We were very excited when we found out.
Oh my gosh, I was so excited. Oh my god, sports book! Wow, well, let's bet on sports. And like we're all like 20 years old, and like they were 22 at most, and we're like, sure. And this is where we learned about parlays, and we learned about parlays the hard way. I felt so great. I had picked 3 out of 4 games correctly. I was so proud of myself. I went and walked up to the sportsbook like I got 3 out of 4.
No, you thought you had all 4 out of 4 correctly.
Oh,
because you picked the Patriots with the spread.
Oh, they played the Bills. Yes.
Yeah.
That was back when they played the Bills. The spread was like 14, and of course that's the day. That's the day the Buffalo Bills, who I think they were like 0-7 at the time or 0-8. They were not good. They're like, you know what? We're gonna keep it close with New England today. I was so proud though. I walked up. I'm like, I think I got this. How much do I win?
Chanting Moose. We're like Moose.
Yes. Walking up and present my ticket, and the lady's like, you didn't win anything. Man. This is thanks for the. I will throw this away for you. I'm like, what do you mean I didn't win anything? I got they all won.
Patriots didn't win. He goes, ma'am, I watched.
I watched the game.
The
Patriots. Gosh, yeah. So we've come a long way, and now we host a sports gambling podcast, and we still have terrible records on picks, but at least we know that we're losing our money legitimately. So that's the point there, right? So let's look. We're looking at your picks, right?
Let's bring them up.
Let's bring them up. Uh, Texans with the spread. Ravens straight up. Jaguars upset alert. Vikings were a slight underdog. You're going to take the Cowboys with the spread. And the Chargers, Jesus, straight up at minus 1,100. You are padding the stats there a little bit with the Chargers. You really want that green circle on there. So let me put the odds back up and tell me about your picks.
Well, I wanted to. I've had some bad luck. I know the past first few weeks I started to make some crazy bets. That's why my possible earnings were up about $600 at one time. So I decided, let me play a little bit more conservative. Let me just get like a W on the board. Let me fill up my bucket with a little bit more cash. So I went ahead and I took the Texans here against Carolina. Texans have a great defense. Pass rush is really good, and their offense with Deshaun Watson. I don't think Carolina's going to be able to keep up with them. They got the starting quarterback, Kyle Allen, I believe his name is. And, yeah, he did play well last week, but I just don't see him having that kind of report performance in Houston. So I took them there. Baltimore Ravens. I didn't like the spread on this one because the Ravens usually beat the Browns, but the Browns keep it close. So I didn't feel comfortable going with the spread there. So I'm pretty confident Ravens will win this one. They'll definitely shake up Baker Mayfield. The Chargers against Miami. I mean, that's a no-brainer. If I lose because of that, then
you deserve to lose the ticket if the Dolphins decide to beat the Chargers.
I get them all right, and that is the one I lose. I will not bet again. I won't. That's it. And then they got Jacksonville Jaguars. They're playing this week. Who we got Jaguars against again?
Jaguars.
Oh, Denver. Yeah, Denver's just been I just not been impressed by Denver at all so far this year. Joe Flacco is going to be very uncomfortable. He's not going to be able to pass. Jalen Ramsey is going to shut down Emmanuel Sanders. This is going to be an easy win. Almost wanted to take the Jaguars. Well, I did take them straight up because they're actually the underdogs.
Yeah, you took them straight up, so no spread at all.
So I feel pretty comfortable with that one. And then, like I said earlier, Cowboys versus the Saints at home. Cowboys defense has been playing pretty decent. Offense has been playing lights out. But the Saints also have a really good defense. So this is one I kind of regret picking them a little bit, the way I feel. But the way the Cowboys have been playing and Dak Prescott's been playing, I think they have a pretty good shot at winning this game. But it all comes down to Teddy Bridgewater.
Then Ravens playing the Browns. So you're going to take the Ravens straight up. And then you're also taking Vikings over the Bears. The slight underdogs there. And
yeah, because like I said, you got two great defenses, two bad quarterbacks, but however, Dalvin Cook's been playing really well.
Yes, I think that was some of my thought process too. Is that Dalvin Cook has been playing amazing. I don't know. We'll have to see. That was one of my no goes. I wanted to pick the Vikings for the kind of the sleeper pick, but it couldn't go with them.
Yeah, it was one of my no goes too. Like I said earlier, but when I made the pick here, I canceled out quarterbacks, canceled out defenses. And Dalvin Cook was the only thing I couldn't cancel out.
Great. So, good luck with the picks. We'll report those out on Twitter, of course. So, Mike's or MRod's $10 parlay of the week could get him $267.73. We'll keep monitoring that over the weekend on Twitter. So make sure you're following us. Information should be going on our tickers as we switch screens. So let's bring up my picks for week 4. I did go with the Vikings. That was a no-go, but oh well. We'll see what happens. I like the Vikings over the Bears, mostly because I like seeing my in-laws lose. They're all big Bears fans. Taking Panthers straight up. I'm going to take Panthers straight up. I've really liked what I saw from Kyle Allen last week. I know Arizona's not the best team in the world, but it was nice to see Carolina actually completing passes and running up and down the field like they used to do before Cam Newton was broken, I guess, with his constant injuries. So I'm liking the Panthers. I do have my Colts up there. Great. I kept the Colts. I'm very confident Jacoby Brissett taking on the Raiders at home. The Raiders have looked like a mess. I think they cover the spread. Not a problem for the Indianapolis Colts. Seahawks, I think is the one that I'm a little concerned about with the spread being 5.5 points. I think they should beat the Cardinals, but I don't know. Maybe Kyler Murray's due to actually do something. We will wait and see. But taking Seahawks with the points. Got the Vikings, and I also share your Cowboys pick as well. So we will see how that turns out. I picked a couple underdogs, looks like. My $10 bets potentially yielding $430-ish. So we will see how that goes. Yeah, Panthers playing the Texans. I forgot about that. Now that's a game I'm feeling pretty confident with. College picks. Got a little lazy. I didn't really feel like doing graphics. But I did a couple over-unders because the early weeks for college for me are always... They're so tough, and everyone's playing cupcakes, so there's not even... You can't pick teams straight up sometimes because you know that the team's a virtual lock. But I threw in a couple over-unders along with some picks. I love the over-unders. I'm thinking Notre Dame playing Virginia. Notre Dame should be bouncing back from a tough game against Georgia. I think Virginia is a little bit overrated. Over 47 should be a certainty there. Looking at NIU and Vandy was another game that I think is doable on the over-under. Over 51 we should hit. Arizona State versus Cal. Cal had a great game, jumping into the top 15 this week, and I'm thinking that they should combine for over 40 points. Arizona State has a pretty decent defense, but I think it's going to, especially over in California, I think it should be a great game, and I'm picking California to win that straight up. I think Clemson's going to hang quite a few points on the Tar Heels and Mac Brown, and my safety picking Notre Dame to beat Virginia straight up. So again, that was a $10 parlay for a $172 or $173 win, hopefully. And those are some of Moose's college picks. I'm hoping that as we're getting into conference play, we'll have some more interesting picks as we move along in the year. But we'll keep that up to date. Make sure you're keeping up with the ticker above. You'll get our picks, and then also we've got some pretty my over-unders for the 1 p.m. and the 4 p.m. games as well. I had a four-way parlay that I had last week for the over-unders, and I hit a couple college ones too. So I made like almost $200 last week. I was really excited about that. And make sure that you're always following us on Twitter. I usually throw my wins and losses on there as well. I'm not shy to share those. Any closing thoughts, Mike, as we head into the weekend? I know I'll be doing the Thunderdome Puckcast probably tomorrow night, so that make sure you're looking for that on YouTube. And then we got a Bucking Hangover scheduled more than likely for Sunday or Monday after the Bucks-Rams game. And after that, I think you're heading off for vacation.
Yep, I will be gone for about a little bit over a week, so look forward to that. Unfortunately, I'm actually going to be in Los Angeles, so get there like the day after the Bucks game, which I wish I would have planned that a little bit better than you. Well, because I planned it before the schedule came out, so I wish the schedule would have just worked out so I could have gone to that game. But other than that, just looking forward to the Bucking Hangover. I feel like we're going to be pretty upset because I think this could be a bad game for the Bucks. The Bucks don't do well out west.
No, they really do not do well out west. So not even that. They're also not a great team, and they're playing what I would consider a semi-elite team in the Los Angeles Rams. So that's it for us on $10 Sports. Hope you enjoyed our picks. Make sure to leave us comments, give us a like, and subscribe to us on YouTube. We're releasing content every couple days among our different shows. And again, we'll have our latest edition of Thunderdome Puckcast tomorrow, a Bucking Hangover for Week 4, probably on Monday. And then I'll be manning the shows alone until Mike comes back from vacation. So we'll see some content going up in the next few weeks as well. So again, thanks so much for the attention, the likes, and the comments. We will see you next week. It's been Moose and MRod with $10 Sports. Good luck.
Have a good night.
$10
$10
Sports.